Sandilands is a big talking point this week. In your eyes, do you think he'll play?
He's an outside chance, but like any of our top echelon of players, we're not going to risk him, especially at this time of the year. It's a reoccurrence of the injury only a few weeks ago. So yeah, he's an outside chance, but as I said, we're not going to risk someone of the importance of Aaron Sandilands.
Is it just a matter of getting through a full training session, or?
Yeah, he was in the gym with me this morning doing some stuff which included, I guess, testing it out a little bit, but it's not until he gets out there and does a full training session that we'll be able to make a call on it. So we're hopeful that he might have a run around tomorrow. If not, we might leave him to the last minute, but it is an outside chance.
Against Natanui and Cox, how important would it be to have Aaron back in this week?
Well, it's important to have fit players against those two ruckmen. They've been terrific all year for West Coast, and regardless if it's Aaron or Griff or Zach, we need two rock-hard fit players to go up against those two. So, no matter who it is, they need to be ready to go.
If he does play, does one of those other guys have to come out, and will it be Zach or John, do you think?
No, I don't think so. Griff was pretty stiff to miss when Aaron came straight back in, but what we've seen with both of them is that they've been able to play very well for us. Zach in a variety of roles, so that obviously bodes well for him, but Griff's game last week's terrific, and he's been doing a really good job in there for us, so we're happy to have all three of them if possible.
How do you pull up, Matthew? Rucking against Mumford's a pretty bruising sort of a job.
Yeah, it is. Look, he put up sore, but so did a lot of players. So this, as you see out there this morning, there's not a huge amount of guys out there doing the full session. Where at this point of the year, try to judge our training loads as best as possible, as every club is, and this week's no different for Griff and some of our senior players.
Do you have to cog it back a bit of training this week because it was Sydney and you had to play them on their terms, on their ground?
Yeah, and in those conditions it was a pretty trying game, and that was why it was so satisfying to get the victory. All of that is taken into account. All the objective and subjective data will be from all the strength guys will be taken into account as well. So anecdotally the players said they put up a bit sore, and that's fine. That's a game of AFL footy, but we'll just have to monitor how all that other data sits in this week. And tomorrow's a main training session, so the whole week is built up to that main training session, and we should have pretty much everyone out there.
With the Swans being such a stoppage-driven team, is that good preparation in some ways for West Coast? We saw with their game against St Kilda how important the stoppages are to them.
Yeah, look, I think it is. It's probably the mindset and the intent to actually go and execute what we're trying to do in there. Having the game and that intensity, I guess at least it's in the forefront of the player's mind, that mindset to ensure that every contest we go to, we've got to be switched on and ready to attack it with the vigour and endeavour that we need to. So it does prepare us well, but it's a different set of bodies and a different set of rules at Subiaco. So yes, on one hand it does allow us to at least be in that mindset, but it's a different team and a different setup.
They worked you over with the press last time you played them and really shut the ball deep into your defence, and you struggled to move it. Have you thought much about how you counter that, and is there a different way to go about it this time, you think?
Look, to be fair, and it actually dates back for a few years now. They've been pretty good at a level of press in their forward half. Their zone and whatnot really hasn't changed a huge amount. Their, I guess, ability to pressure the ball's probably improved a little bit, but as a few people have been saying lately, it's been their ability to win the ball and then execute under pressure. It's probably been the most pleasing thing. We will try to, of course, counter what happened last time. I think the second quarter, from memory, they really did lock us in our back half, and we found it hard to move it out of there. But that's been in place, or at least the theory behind it, or the bones to that structure from their point of view for quite some time. So we'll look back at some past games and look to see what we've done effectively as well.
I've said in the week, Matt, that you were ambushed in the first derby this year. Take any extra meaning this game, considering you lost the first one?
No, it doesn't. No. The extra meaning is that, like every game at this time of the year when teams are vying for positions, the extra meaning is that you actually get ahead of them or you're around the mark in terms of the end of the year stuff. So there's no extra meaning by virtue of what happened earlier in the year. It's important to win because of we want to keep the momentum going.
How satisfying is it that you're only one game behind the Eagles considering the amount of injuries you've had?
Well, it's satisfying to be around the mark where we are, not necessarily one win behind the Eagles. It's satisfying to be there because of the challenging year that we've had with the injuries. But that doesn't mean anything. We've got 7 games to go, and we've put ourselves in with a chance. It's now having to take those opportunities when they come, and this Sunday it's one of those opportunities.
Sad news for Roger earlier in the week, but could be good news for Nick Subin.
Could be good news, yeah. It is sad for Rog. Shattering. He's done so much hard work to get back, and when you see someone who goes through the vast gamut of emotions that the AFL produces each year, he's had a few of those over his journey. It's really shattering for him. But yeah, Nick's opportunity, by all reports, he played quite well for Claremont. Played sort of in defence, so he's a chance to come back in. But he'll have to get through training tomorrow as well.
This derby, both of you are pretty much neck and neck in the top 8. It's been a while since you've both been so close and coming into a derby. Does that make any more significance, to put any more significance on the game? Or?
There's significance on every single game you play, regardless of where you are on the ladder. I think it is the first time that I guess the state will become fully engrossed in the game by virtue of the fact that we are in the top 8 together. So look, it's going to be a big game of footy, and one that we're looking forward to. I'm sure they're looking forward to as well, and it's going to be hotly contested.
Who goes in as favourites?
You'd say West Coast, definitely.
Because of their recent run, or
because they've got pretty much everyone except for Butler to choose from, and they've been in terrific form all year. Knocked off the premiership favourites, Geelong, if not pretty much close to the premiership favourites 2 weeks ago. So I'm not a bookie, and I'm certainly not allowed to bet, but I know who would be favourite.
Do you allow yourself to think about the possibility of the top 4 at this point? I mean, if you win this, it's possible you could be half a game from the 4th spot.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's one of the battles of being an AFL player and involved in an AFL team, is you just can't afford to look too far ahead. And the most important game is the next one, regardless if it's West Coast, Brisbane, Port Adelaide, Sydney, whoever we play. The next game is the most important one, and sorry, it is a cliche, but we're only worried about that one.
Certain things unravel. Obviously, there's a long way to go, but there's a chance this year that there could be a Derby final. How big would that be? Like, I know you can't say it would definitely happen, or it wouldn't, but it could happen. How big would it be?
It'd probably be big for you guys and the state and everyone that supports football. For us, it'd be a great opportunity to play in a final. That's all we'd be worried about. It doesn't matter who we play.
Have a lot of hype around Nat Fyfe at the moment. He's playing some good footy. How's he handling all that? He's starting to get some more attention on the park as well, and sort of getting guys running with him. How's the young lad handling all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, fine. I mean, young kid from Lake Grace and Aquinas College who's had a good upbringing, and he's pretty level-headed, and he's got a pretty good mentor, Tomo. So, he's going well. He's a guy that that sort of really won't fuss him. He's pretty simple, and he's simple-minded in terms of he's got a fierce desire to be successful, and he's very driven. So I don't think the external distractions will affect him one bit.
Is the mentor instructing him to square it up to the bloke in the corridor when he's swooped on the ball out wide on the flank?
The mentor tells him, go and do what you keep doing. Well, just go and do what you have been doing, because it's been working. So I don't have to tell him much.
Do you expect him to get a bit of extra attention on?
Like any big game, there's always some extra attention on the players who've been in form in the previous few weeks. So probably likely that they might look to target him or a couple of other players, but we'll be no different with sort of focusing on some of their very good players as well. So tit for tat sort of thing.
Was the Sydney win your best win of the season, you think, Matthew?
It's a good question. I mean, we've had some close victories. The round 1 Brisbane game, Western Bulldogs, early in the season. But I think from the perspective of having still quite a few injuries out and beating them up there in that style of conditions and that style of game, I think that was pretty satisfying.
Is there a feeling that you've weathered the storm of the injuries, that the worst of that is behind you?
Well, we thought that, and then Rog hurt himself on the weekend. I mean, you know, Aaron's not too far away. David's, you know, getting closer. So, you know, there's probably one or two others that fit into that category. I think we're getting closer to being back to at least full strength, and that certainly does lift the spirits around the place.
You've been brushed up on your Lady Gaga skills after Kingy's question on the weekend.
I'm still not really sure where that came from. It's certainly left field. Apparently she was staying in our hotel, but I'm led to believe that wasn't the case anyway. So no, we'll leave all the Lady Gaga questions. I reckon I'll stick to footy. Thanks.